Hello there, and welcome to Power Talk, your trusted platform for deep discussions on energy challenges and opportunities shaping our nation and the continent. My name is Victor Mwila. Today, we are discussing a monumental initiative, the 2025 Africa Energy Summit, known as the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit, set to take place in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania from 27 to 28 January 2025. The summit's ambitious goal is to provide electricity to 300 million Africans, sub-Saharan Africans to be specific, by 2030, addressing the critical energy deficit that has held back development across the continent. Zambia will be part of this historic event, joining other African nations in pledging reforms to promote low-cost power generation, regional energy integration, and increased private sector investment in renewable energy. I introduce to you my guest on today's program shortly after this break. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Zambia News and Information Services, your media and communication hub. Need a professional space? We offer state-of-the-art studio hire for sound and film productions. Experience comprehensive news coverage and in-depth features that bring you closer to the stories that matter. Capture your moments with our professional photography services, perfect for events, portraits, and more. Looking for eye-catching visuals? Our graphic art and design team will elevate your brand with custom solutions. Host your next event with confidence. We provide high-quality conference systems and public address systems tailored to your needs. Contact us today at zanismarketing@gmail.com. or call or WhatsApp 0773 809 040. ZANIS TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Power Talk. Joining me now is Dr. Johnston Chikwanda, a highly respected energy expert with a wealth of experience in energy policy, renewable solutions, and power infrastructure development. Dr. Chikwanda has been at the forefront advocating for sustainable energy transitions in Zambia and across Africa, serving as a consultant and advisor to various governments and organizations. Dr. Chikwanda, thank you for coming and accepting to just appear on Power Talk and share insights with us.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled to be here, back in the new year. And I would like to greet our viewers.
Thank you. So today our focus is the 2025 Africa Energy Summit, known as the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit, which is taking place from 27th to 28th January 2025 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. But before we get to the issues of the summit, I would like us to first of all, deal with issues here at home. And Zambia has faced one of the worst droughts, arguably the worst in the history of the country, that resulted in reduced power generation, hydropower generation, impacting the economy and businesses across the country. I would like to find out, how are we doing as a country and what lessons have we learned? Are we making progress in diversifying our energy portfolios?
We have gone through one of the most challenging moments in the history of this country. The energy poverty that we've gone through last year, and even now, is really been excruciating. By and large, because of a number of factors, part of it, the legacy issues, in the sense that the country was already aware. When you read the 6th National Development Plan, the 7th National Development Plan, we already knew that the days of over-depending on one source of energy, hydro, were numbered, because the writing was on the wall of what climate change was going to do. And we try to respond, as can be seen in the plans of action in the national development plans, especially the 7th National Development Plan, because that one was coming on the back of the drought in 2016, which almost brought this economy to a standstill. Fast forward, we did not achieve much in terms of diversifying. And there are reasons. The plan was there, but the implementation thereof, we faltered in a significant way. So we have to contextualize why we are in this space. Yes, we have had a drought, but also we did not do certain things well as a country, because there are countries that don't have rainfall to talk about, but they do not have load shedding to this kind of extent. In fact, others have got even more power than it is needed. So we have a lot of legacy issues that have pushed us in this space, and the biggest hit which exposed us was the drought. Yeah, but in terms of answering your question, how are we responding? And the leadership in this country did declare it a crisis and a state of emergency, and that was the beginning of heightened leadership response. And what I've seen is that government has initiated a lot of initiatives, a lot of them, and I can count them, but for lack of time. We saw government waiving more taxes on renewable energy products in order to make them affordable to the people. That is something to talk about, because people were complaining that the solar panels are expensive, the inverters are expensive, the batteries are expensive because of the various taxes that were on them. And the government went in there and waived all the taxes. Not only that, but also government mounted the pressure on the vendors, the suppliers, to make sure that they reduce the prices of these generators and so on and so forth, so that people can benefit from government goodwill. And the prices have stabilized, indeed. Government also went in to waive or suspend a requirement which was sitting at the Energy Regulation Board, that if you want to import in the country, even one solar panel, you needed to go and get a permit from the Energy Regulation Board, which was very cumbersome, just for one, as if it's a bomb that you are trying to import. So that got scrapped, meaning that people, if they feel that the prices locally are too much, they can go on the internet and search a panels that they want, the renewable energy that they want, the generator which they want, and import it in the country, the same way we import vehicles and other things as consumers. So that was a game changer, which these two initiatives, but also we saw a reworking of the licensing journey, because the licensing journey was a nightmare. It would take you 2 years in some instances. Even me, I've been a victim of the cumbersome licensing procedure at my level. And I would wonder, what about somebody? So we would have a lot of investors, and they would just be lost in the cracks. They would just give up, because the licensing journey and approval regulatory was very, very cumbersome. It has now been streamlined. If you bring your application and all the documents are okay, within 2 weeks you can expect your licensing. So the reforms have been quite robust in this space. And not only that, but we also noted the government opened up another policy known as the Open Access Initiative. What this means is that if today you want to set up a generation capacity, and your customer is sitting maybe in the Copper Belt or sitting in Southern Province, you can feel free that you can count on ZESCO to move your electricity to your customer. meaning that the access to the infrastructure, the transmission and distribution has been opened compared to previously where it was really, really close that the owners of the infrastructure can say, no, we are not going to move your electricity for whatever reason, but now it has been open, meaning the bottlenecks have been removed in a significant way. The cost of doing business have been removed. And then the major thing also was the cost, because if you know electricity, part of the reasons the investment was stagnating was the investors were concerned that the tariff in Zambia was very low. If I bring my investment there, I will not be able to recover my money. So by improving the pricing, by over a 5-year period, because we have a multi-year tariff plan which has been rolled out, and so all of us know how the electricity price is moving every year. So the investor now has got an opportunity to know that if I take my investment and it's going to be commissioned 2 years from now, the price at that particular time is going to be at this level, as compared to the previous where you don't know what the price of electricity is going to be because somebody was not inspired enough or the structure did not allow for a predictable selling price to be known. As you know, in fuel business, the prices are reviewed every month. Yeah, but on electricity, you can't know when this thing is going to happen. But that has changed. For the next 5 years, beginning from 2 years ago, we know where the price is going to be. So these are just some of the initiatives which have been rolled out. So I would say that to answer your question, yes, our response as a country has put us in the correct driveway in terms of policy and initiatives. And the visibility of the leadership has also been very, very strong. If you've seen, our president has always been at the cutting edge of driving this and pushing this. So the demonstration of strong leadership has been seen. But what we now need is to accelerate the implementation of the initiatives. That is where we should be. Open access, where are we? Net metering, where are we? So that's where we need to focus on. The people, already the mindset has shifted. They are willing to buy in, but why are they not moving? What is the bottleneck? How can we navigate to ensure that we accelerate the rollout? That is the phase that we need to start navigating.
We certainly hope that these initiatives that government has put in place will help us as a country to navigate the difficulties that we are still going through as a country and make this a thing of the past. Mm-hmm. Well, let's shift our attention to our topic today. We're looking at the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit, which will be taking place in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Mm-hmm. What exactly is the summit about? And how do you think Zambia can benefit from the initiative of the summit?
Mm-hmm. In 2030, the world is going to gather at the United Nations, where we are going to be giving our status reports as countries on how we have performed on the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, which took over from the Millennium Development Goals. Now, one of the SDGs here is SDG goal number 7, which calls for universal access to clean, affordable, and sustainable energy for all by the year 2030. So most countries, including Zambia, are not sitting too well in terms of progress that is being made on the overall electrification. And this can be seen in the recently released Energy Access Report 2023 for Zambia, which showed that we are 80% urban electrification, but rural electrification is sitting at about 34%, which is considerable progress in rural electrification. Looking at where we were a few years ago, we were at around 8%, but we are at 34%. But still, it's a far cry, because when you aggregate these two portions, the urban electrification and the rural electrification, the average is coming to about 60%. They are about just even below, meaning that the overall outlook is showing that we are not likely to meet universal connectivity by the year 2030 unless drastic measures and initiatives are deployed. And so by going to this summit, which has given itself a target of connecting 300 million people within the sub-Saharan Africa, is something that is welcome. We have about 600 million plus that are not connected to clean energy in Africa. And so we recognize that it may be difficult to reach universal access by 2030, but at least if we can have that number, it will be a good showing. That is the context of this meeting. That is the overall picture that is before us. And so this summit is bringing together policymakers, is bringing together private sector, is bringing together multilateral partners to see how resource mobilization can be harnessed and how different bottlenecks, structural and financial, can be dealt with within different countries in order to accelerate the connecting of these 300 million people across sub-Saharan Africa. In a nutshell, that is what this is about.
At what level of representation would you like Zambia to participate in this summit?
Well, if our chief marketing officer, the president, time permitting, and his schedule, it will be good, because there is peers who are going to be there, and he has already demonstrated his capacity and potential to lead from the forefront in the fight against energy poverty. That he has demonstrated. And it is good, it also inspires other countries that are grappling with this challenge, because we are not the only ones, but also to share knowledge in terms of how other countries have managed to reach more than 90% electrification rates. Why has Zambia stagnated the way we have stagnated in our electrification? Is it structural? Is it lack of funding? Is it human capacity? Where do we see the challenge? How come other countries have done fairly well, even across the border here in Zimbabwe? Their electrification rates are quite far stronger than us, despite the challenges that they have. So we can share and compare notes, and it will really, really be a good demonstration that we are trying our level best, especially that we are also trying to spearhead regional integration through the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector, which will seek to interconnect the entire Southern Africa region to the East African region. So that is his flagship program, because it really, really stagnated for more than 10 years, and we have seen incredible traction to this project in the past 1 year. So I would prefer, if he can manage, to go, but if he's not able to, he will send a strong delegation that side.
Just the point that you brought out about the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector, and you just also alluded to the fact, of course, asking a question, whether it's an issue of lack of funding. I would like us to reflect on the approved grant of $292 million US dollars to support the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector project. How do you think we can tap into that as a country? And what's the significance of this project in looking at the potential impact on the country's energy landscape? How will it impact Zambia's landscape, should it be a reality?
Yeah, first and foremost, to unlock funding at this level, you have to begin by acknowledging the effort which the government has put in, because Otherwise, you cannot get a grant at this level if various partners are not able to see your vision, your direction, and the effort that you are mounting. And so it means that our space has been identified, that a grant can come in, and you can count that it is not going to be diverted or fall in the cracks. The World Bank has given Zambia a lot of support, even in the past. Just last year, $100 million was given to ZESCO as a grant to build their resilience, among other things. And previously, they have also supported the subsidy program, the electricity supply access program, which was being spearheaded by rural electrification. As you know, the issue of the connection fees is one of the hindrances to electricity access. And so the World Bank came in there to be giving a subsidy to those poor households that are not able to meet the full cost of electricity connection. So that is a commendable job, and they have been at it, and they are at it even as I'm talking about.
So for the common person on the street, how will this project benefit them? The Zambia-Tanzania interconnector, what does it really mean? What is its significance, and how will it impact?
First and foremost, maybe it's a language. When we say interconnector, what exactly do we mean? When electricity has been produced, it has to be moved, transported to an area where it is needed. So we have got electricity in Zambia, we have electricity in the Southern African region, and we are interconnected in the region. But we are not connected to East Africa. East Africa countries, they are also connected amongst themselves, meaning that electricity in Tanzania can move into Uganda, can move into Kenya, so they are interconnected. Like in Zambia, we are able to move electricity from Mozambique, where we are getting at the moment, from South Africa, from Namibia, Zimbabwe, because we are connected. But the two regions, Southern Africa region and East Africa region, they are not connected. So what that means is that if there is excess electricity in the East African market, which there is at the moment, that electricity cannot be moved to Southern Africa. It cannot be moved to Zambia because there is no corridor, there is no highway, there is no transmission line which will carry that electricity. So this project that we are calling the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector is a transmission line which will connect the two regions so that electricity, where it is in excess, it can be moved to a region like into Zambia where we desperately need electricity. So by finishing this interconnector, which may be in the next 9 months, I think it's a short-term project, it means that if our challenge continues, which is likely to continue because the way we have finished water in the Kariba and the Kafue complex, we cannot expect much to populate the water back within the next 2 years. So meaning that we still have to find electricity from other places. And this is where accessing the East African market is very important for Zambia. We'll be able to move electricity from East Africa and bring it to Zambia and by and large South Africa so that it can reduce our energy deficit. Then we can have energy. If we have energy, then our production in the companies which have been retrenching people will go back into business at a level that they are supposed to be.
Private sector investment will be a major focus of the Mission 300 Summit in Tanzania. Just briefly, I know you talked about this a little bit. How has the private sector fared in Zambia in as far as responding to the call for the country to diversify its energy sources?
What I have observed is that from our Zambian context, we have had a number of private sector players coming up to advance the electrification, the supply of these commodities, solar panels, inverters. Others are venturing into establishing power plants, which are at different stages of development, the renewable energy solar plants. And there are also other companies that supply those small solar kits for use. I know one particular company that has already reached more than 200,000 customers of giving them solar kits that can power 2 bulbs, maybe a TV here, and smaller appliances in categories as what you want. And so we've seen them mobilizing resources. It's the banks, the private sector, because we need financing for these kind of things, and also the place of the solar installers, the team to build these installation, perspectives. All that is part of the wider, private sector. But obviously, where I want to see much more is building a capacity for solar installers, because we have got a critical skills shortage in this area. The entire energy transition hangs in balance if we are not able to produce a lot of renewable energy installation technicians. This is at a low level. We need to produce a lot of them. Otherwise, I'm aware that some towns don't actually even have a single person who can install a solar kit, and we don't want to see this kind of scenario. We need to produce a lot of them, continue to facilitate for the private sector to do their work, funding perspective, ensuring that they are not inflating the prices, they are making the prices as manageable as possible. We've got foundations like the Rockefeller Foundation, which will be at this summit. They have got an initiative in Zambia to do almost 1,000 mini-grids across the country. It's an initiative that we cannot wait to see. So the place of the private sector is extremely crucial in complementing government work, because government is simply to facilitate and make the environment conducive, but the private sector must arise and seize the opportunity.
Dr. Chikwanda, I would like to say thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for coming to this discussion and the insights that you've provided.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, viewers, that's it for today. We have explored Zambia's response to the energy crisis, the significance of the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit to be held in Tanzania from 27 to 28 January 2025, and the critical steps our nation must take to embrace renewable energy, regional integration, and private sector participation. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm your host, Victor Mwila. Until next time, stay informed to be empowered. It's bye for now.